Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, a World Alternative Media here, and as the Fed says it's going to start buying individual corporate bonds, derp, Business Insider mentioned this article today that I thought I really needed to do something on. It says 85% of independent restaurants may go out of business by the end of 2020, according to the Independent Restaurant Coalition, which is even higher than we previously reported. Before I go into any of that, make sure to hit that like button below. Join us on other social medias, alternatives like flote.app as well as BitChute. Join our new newsletter at www.imbanned.com. Share this on social media to get around the shadow banning, and check those links below. It's all linked below in the description. GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar, all of it makes a huge difference. I will be announcing a major announcement very shortly on my departure from YouTube, and I'll let everyone know where that's going to be and when that's going to be and how that's going to be. Anyway, let's get into this news here. As I mentioned out of this article from Business Insider, as it says, 85% of independent restaurants may go out of business by the end of 2020, according to the Independent Restaurant Coalition. And as this article goes into, as many as 85% of independent restaurants may be forced out of business by the end of the year, according to a new report commissioned by the Independent Restaurant Coalition. The report, which was conducted by consulting company Compass Lexicon, outlines the threats facing independent restaurants as the pandemic continues to affect businesses. Although the restaurant industry as a whole has suffered major losses, independent restaurants like mom-and-pop diners, neighborhood Thai joints, and fine dining staples are much more at risk than fast food chains like McDonald's and Starbucks. Well, yeah, because they left the major chains open while shutting down all the small chains. I wonder how that happened. Government. As it continues, it says independents, which comprise 70% of all restaurants, rely much more heavily on dine-in revenue and don't have the corporate resources that make some chains so resilient in the face of disaster. And I quote, "What I'm afraid of is the people that are the least likely to survive are going to be these small single location immigrant run, women run, people of color run operations. That we're the ones that don't have the infrastructure like the chain restaurants to survive this," Dan Wu, owner of Atomic Ramen in Lexington, Kentucky, said on an IRC press call. Wu is an immigrant, like many other independent restaurant owners and workers. Business Insider spoke with Amanda Cohn, who runs Dirt Candy, a vegetarian restaurant in New York City, and is a member of the IRC leadership. Cohn said that what originally seemed a 2-week problem has turned into a 2-year problem. And I quote, "I think it's going to be a long haul to get back to where we were," Cohen said. "I still have most of the same bills that I had before I closed. I still have to pay electricity and gas and purveyors. And I don't think I will have enough customers to keep my business going." Restaurant owners say that while the Paycheck Protection Program has provided immediate relief for many independent restaurants, it's a temporary band-aid for their long-term problems. And I quote, "We do have the support of the PPP loans and also the grants that are paid by the government, but simply not enough to stay open long term. I don't think most restaurants will even last to December," Nina Compton said on the IRC press call. Compton is the chief and owner of Compere Lapin and Bywater American Bistro in New Orleans. And I quote, "We don't have the infrastructure or the financial support that chain restaurants have," Cohen said. Cohen received a PPP loan that she said will last her through December, but she's unsure if she'll be able to stay open after that. "I don't know who I turn to now if I need more money." Restaurants already operate on razor-thin margins. For sit-down restaurants, those margins are decimated by capacity limits, which will likely be in place until a vaccine is found. Many restaurants that have pivoted to delivery have found that it still isn't profitable. Even the cities capping delivery platform fees at 15%. A recent Eater survey of San Francisco restaurant owners found that 87% said they would not be able to survive on just delivery and takeout, and 60% said they're losing money by staying open. it's likely that restaurants won't be able to return to pre-pandemic business levels until they're able to open dining rooms at full capacity without social distancing restrictions. Although May saw the return of nearly 1.4 million restaurant jobs, that recovery trajectory is unlikely to persist through the coming months as most restaurants continue to operate at a loss. Well, yeah, because everyone's out of work, so how do they have money to spend on restaurants? The fact that they're saying even here that they won't be able to get things up and running until they're able to open dining rooms at full capacity without social distancing measures, aka until the government allows them to not be completely broke and be unable to feed their family. That's a key word, and we'll go into the whole coronavirus issue in a moment. But carrying on, it says, especially in dense urban areas like New York, social distancing protocols are a death sentence for small business, for small restaurants that pay high rent and rely on densely packed dining rooms. There's just no way any of us in Manhattan can survive, Cohen said. In Congress, the IRC is pushing for restaurant-specific funding in addition to the PPP, with a new bill spearheaded by Oregon Representative Earl Blumenauer. Blumenauer's proposed bill, the Restaurants Act, or the Real Economic Support that Acknowledges Unique Restaurant Assistance Needed to Survive Act, God, it's a long title, would provide $120 billion in grant support for independent restaurants. Well, the answer is in government. The government created the problem in the first place, and they sure as hell aren't going to fix the problem. What's going to fix the problem is they take away the restrictions, they take away the extortion, they take away the crazy regulations and the laws. Look, restaurants already had a hard enough time making any profits to begin with before any of this, because of regulations, because of taxes, because of the propping up of major monopolies by governments on the left and the right. Massive regulations meant to stop big monopolies actually cause monopolies to grow bigger. It's Orwellian doublespeak, while the small businesses get cratered and destroyed. For example, there's a place called Food Fair in Winnipeg, Canada, that has been in trouble many times in the media for refusing to close down on government holidays because they're like, we need to pay our employees and we make more money than the fine anyway, so it's better for us to stay open. Well, during the whole coronavirus pandemic, they were told that their stores, their aisles are just like an inch too thin, so therefore they have to close down while Walmart can stay open, while Costco can stay open. Another example of how they prop up big monopolies and destroy the smaller competition. This is criminal. I mean, if you just considering the stats here, 85% of independent restaurants may go out of business. I mean, before the stat was about 24% about a month ago, and 52% of all small businesses saying they cannot survive another 6 weeks, and that study came out 6 weeks ago. I'm hearing a lot of people say they can't survive past December, including here in Mexico where I am. I mean, it is so criminal, and I do want to bring up the actual coronavirus studies. A recent report from the CDC itself noted that the likelihood of dying from coronavirus is excruciatingly low. And I say excruciatingly because it's excruciating to watch all the things that came from the CDC's initial claims of 3.5% to 7% death toll. We're looking at a dramatically low rate with their most recent studies, yet they're still talking about we need to keep things shut down. The actual rates from the study point out that the likelihood of you dying if you get coronavirus is generally 0.26%, but if you take away nursing home patients, it's 0.2%. If you take away people under 50, if you deal with people under 50 instead, it's 0.1%. And if you count the real asymptomatic cases, which are much higher than they previously thought, it would be about 0.04%. Now, the flu is 0.1%, so already that's lower than the flu. Well, if you count all people altogether on Earth, the chances of them dying of coronavirus, because those previous stats were if you had it, the overall stats are about 0.002%. It's almost impossible to die from it. You cannot spread it on surfaces, the CDC has confirmed, despite them previously saying the opposite. Masks don't really do much of anything. They actually just inhibit your ability to breathe and cause lung conditions, skin rashes, and for people like myself who have asthma, they could actually lead to things like pneumonia. But it's a law. You have to wear the slave mark. And now they've come out and said that it really doesn't do much for you. And then on top of that, the World Health Organization went back on their previous claim and says, oh, well, it's almost impossible to spread it if you're asymptomatic. It's basically impossible. So that takes away all the concerns about it. So why are they still going for a secondary shutdown when 85% of restaurants, I mean, when you have this level of poverty, people are pushed out of their jobs. Then they can't spend money into the economy. Then they can't support the people that are still open. Then those places go bankrupt. Then everything goes bankrupt. And if you look at places like in Britain, the British government's like, oh, you know what? We'll just, those small business loans we gave out for all those people that suffer because of us, we will just take equity in their company for over their debts that they can't pay back. That's what China does to African countries. That's what the IMF does to Central American countries. That's what the US has done in the Middle East for years. I mean, they loan more money than can be paid back. And then they take over the enterprise, and that's fascism. That's literally by definition fascism. Where's Antifa on that? Huh? This is going to lead to millions of deaths, because we're looking at hundreds of millions of unemployed people worldwide. That's going to lead to starvation. That's going to lead to a health crisis. That suicides are way up. Domestic abuse is way up. Child abuse is way up. Drug abuse, alcoholism way up. And all because of this thing that kills almost no one compared to the actual initial claim. And on top of that, the people that are dying from it, they were marking COVID on people who had heart attacks or who were short of breath. They were symptomatic. They didn't have it. They were never proven to have it. They were symptomatic, as in they had leukemia and they were short of breath as they died, or lung cancer and were short of breath as they died, or got hit by a car and they were short of death as they died. I'm not allowed to talk about this stuff on YouTube. They can take my video down for this, but it's a fact, and you need to know the facts. And again, I'm going to be completely leaving YouTube very shortly, so I hope you guys join me when I leave to flote.app, BitChute, as well as Library, where I am, as well as at Wham on Library. Mines as well. Anyway, but the point is, this is unbelievably fraudulent, and the Federal Reserve is printing trillions of dollars into the economy. And by that, I mean actually into the markets. It's going to lead to deflation short term, but long term, really bad inflation. That's another tax on the price of living. That's basically the price of living going way up and wages going way down. But they're there to help you guys. The government's there to help you. They're creating the issue in the first place and then coming in as a solution. This is evil, what they're doing. Evil. And they're talking about shutting things down again. They're already doing that in places like in the Middle East, in Africa, in Asia, and Europe. All these places that were supposed to open to tourists, actually we're going to close down. Places throughout the United States are talking about re-closing down. And they're trying to clash people against each other. 12 people go outside and protest a lockdown because they don't have jobs and can't feed their family, and they're COVIDiots, and they are demonic, horrible people that are killing grandma. But thousands of people burned down buildings, and the protest was for the right reason, and I don't have anything against them going out in big numbers, but they're burning down a bunch of buildings, and that's, according to the media, fine. But 12 people going out, no, that kills grandma. And then they're going to come out with a new second wave nonsense push that will go, or, it'll regard children, most likely. They will say that it's going to kill children. And if you don't stay inside and be a slave in a kennel with contact tracing and forced vaccinations if you want to go anywhere or travel anywhere, then you are selfish. And keep in mind that Dr. Fauci ran the Institute for Allergies and Infectious Diseases, which got millions of dollars in U.S. government grants for the Wuhan Institute of Virology, where they study for years coronavirus in bats. It's 96% similar to the novel coronavirus, and the whole point of the study was to be able to splice it and spread it to humans. Now, if it's too strong, it'll kill you too fast. It doesn't spread well. If it's too weak, it'll spread really fast, but it won't kill well. So they try to find things in the middle. Disease research centers all the time try to design viruses or illnesses or bioweapons, if you will, that can easily spread but not kill too fast, but kill enough people. They want any excuse possible to enslave humanity, and they're going for the throat, and they're going to do it again, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I'm telling you this almost 100%. This is what's going to happen. So God forbid we continue to bow down to this insanity. God forbid we don't teach our friends, our parents, our kids, grandkids, what's really happening right now. It's never been more important to spread information, because this is the enslavement of free humanity. What you do next will make all of the difference. Anyway, I'll continue to report on this as they are ripping apart these small businesses, propping up major monopolies, coming in to, help, quote unquote, and by that I mean literally taking over the businesses. That fascism is government control of corporations. Communism is government is a corporation. It's just a step behind, isn't it? Very sad. Anyway, I hope everyone hits that like button. Share this on social media. Get it out there, and it's the only way we can get around shadow banning, because only about 97% of our views on our video come from outside of YouTube, external clicks, because YouTube doesn't show anyone our videos anymore. They show a few people, but not many. Very, very small amount. About 2 to 3% on average of the views on a video actually come from YouTube itself. So share on social media. Join us on flote.app, flote.app, linked below, as well as BitChute. Join our new newsletter at iamband.com. Join us on Library at WAM, and Minds at World Alternative Media, all those things. Join our Cointree account, and you can share, or you can send crypto to Monero or Bitcoin or any of the different cryptocurrencies we have in there. And also GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar. It's never been more important. I'm so thankful for all of you that have been pledging just $1 or more a month or anything. I mean, it means a lot to me. Unfortunately, lately, a lot of people have been dropping out, and I understand a lot of people don't have much money, but we can't keep up as a media much longer, because we're actually losing money in pledges since we got demonetized for going against the World Health Organization here at WAM. So we really need your help any way possible. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for that, and we'll be back at you with much more. Make sure to also check on Subscribestar if you do pledge there, that your pledge is still going through, because a few people, their pledges just got canceled because they didn't respond to something in enough time. I have to put that out there, because honestly, this is the end of the ropes for YouTube. We are about to leave, and I want to make sure that we have the sustainability that we can still bring you videos like this on a daily basis. It's a lot of work, and lately I've had to leave my home in the United States, come to Mexico. I'm living on $400 a month in a small place in Mexico, and I still can't get by. So it's really crazy what they managed to do to us, but we will always prevail, even if we are homeless, which I technically am. So if that's not evidence that I really do care about this information, I don't know what is. Anyway, appreciate everyone joining us, and until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change. Like what you see here, WAM? Don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar. We really can't do it without you. We've been so insanely shadow banned, about 90% at this point, and 95% demonetized. As Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, comes in and says that she is shutting down quote-unquote controversial content and cutting out the views on this controversial content by 70%. She's been bragging about it. We need your help more than ever in this battle for truth in information. You guys are what keeps us alive, so we really appreciate just even $1 a month makes a huge difference. If everyone could give just $1 a month, we wouldn't even have to worry about competing against the mainstream propaganda networks. You can also donate to our Bitcoin address on the screen for you to scan if you please, as well as in the comments and description. Liking and sharing makes a big difference as well, and finding us on alternative social media platforms like flote.app, that's flote.app, makes a huge difference. We're at Josh Sigurdson as well as at WAM. Flote is replacing Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Tumblr, Reddit, and Patreon all in one with encrypted private messaging, and of course monetization on videos for creators, live streams with super chats in crypto, and most of all, no algorithm, because at the end of the day, it's all about reach, guys. This is all about actually reaching people with the message and waking up the public. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, Minds, BitChute, all sorts of different platforms. Try to follow us on as many things as possible, because very soon this channel will very likely just be completely deleted from YouTube, and you'll never see us again, and you'll be stuck with only the mainstream networks. Also, come on out and see us at Anarcho Vegas 2020 in Las Vegas, Nevada in July, where such speakers such as G. Edward Griffin and many others will be speaking. You could use promo code WAM on your VIP tickets and save 10%, as well as buy extremely cheap tickets for just $20.20. You won't find a cheaper conference than this with such amazing names. Check anarchovegas.com for more information on that. We hope to see you out there. And anyway, I really appreciate all of you guys joining us. You make it possible for us to survive in this volatile, propagandized climate Until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.